Welcome back, part number 11 and the final part of my Trumpeter EA-18G Growler build. So it's been a really fun project, but it's coming to an end. So this video we're going to tie all the stuff together to get it finished. Last like gear doors, getting the gear on, all that kind of stuff, and then at the end we'll do a final reveal. So it's been a really cool, as I mentioned, a really cool journey. Love this build, and sorry to see it ending, but we'll end today. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so it's getting heavy and it's getting tough to handle, but here she is in all her glory. So since we last spoke, simple, glued these guys on, perfect fit, just a couple drops of super glue, no problem at all. So tails are on, and the gear, again, really nice fit, real easy placement points on this. It's a little bit of super glue, and remember there's a little metal in there too, so they do add some weight and some strength to that. So gears on, no problem at all, just the main pieces, there's some struts and stuff to go on later, and that's kind of where we're at. So it's still looking a little bit shiny. I don't know, I may hit it with some a different type of matte, just kind of dull it down a little bit more. It's a little bit too shiny maybe in the light. I don't know, we'll see how we go. But that's kind of where we're at, looking really good. We've got ordnance made up from earlier parts, but we've got lots of little tiny stuff to go through. So this, I apologize in advance, this video is gonna be a little choppy, kind of going through all this stuff to get it added. So here's my game plan with this. The gear's on, so next up I want to do the doors. So I'm probably do a side at a time, so I get all the pieces mixed up. So I get the doors on, and then once that's on, we can go ahead and add all the ordnance and fuel tanks and stuff, and all the pods on the bottom. And then we've got a couple of lights here and there on the tail, little aerials, antennas, all that kind of stuff. Pitot tubes have gone at the very end, and so too all the doors for the avionics bays have gone at the very end too. So still plenty of work to do, but we're getting there. It's all now just crossing off the list and getting all this little stuff done. Also put the front seat in, as you can see. The back seat I'm not glued in yet because I want to get the masking tape off the canopy and just see, make sure it's not touching and got a good fit, so I can see through the canopy first. But that, again, we're looking really cool. I'm really had a blast building this one. I'm not done yet, but it's been a lot of fun, and I definitely consider buying a different one of these Trumpeter kits, maybe like the E variant or the F, to build as well, because I had so much fun with this one. But it's, I think when it's finished, it's gonna look really awesome in the collection. Just a really posing size and just a cool jet. So plenty of work ahead of me, so enough waffling. Let me go ahead and get started. So I'm going to start cutting out those pieces for the one side of the gear, all those gear doors. I think there's like 8 doors in total, and we'll start priming and painting those up to match the bodywork.
Okay, just a quickie here. This part here, H24, and has built P5. It looks like it goes in behind it. There's no way of mentioning where that kind of P goes. Now, I didn't really notice the P, so I sprayed and painted this up. Then I realized, oh, there's a big hole. So P5, just a strip of metal. It actually goes on the outside, like that. Obviously, I need to prime and paint that back up again. But it's just, it doesn't really show where it goes. And where it's angled, it looks like it goes on the inside, where it can't go on the inside. So just want to point that out. So that bit of metal just go on the outside. I think just need a little bit more glue, just kind of get that bit more flat. But yep, that's that one. And then remember, cut those decals early on for the, where are we at, on F9 and 10, the doors for the avionics bays. Again, just put those decals safe in the safe location, and so I don't lose them. And obviously painted these guys up, and then now I just put those on. Just put the doors in place and line it up to a decal above it so it matches when you kind of open and close it. And with the micro sole, you can see how well it's kind of bedded down there, hopefully on the camera, how it's all the recesses and stuff. Looking really good, so it looks like it's painted on and not a sticker. Cool, so they need to be flat coated, and then along with all the other stuff, and then I can weather these up. So I'm going to weather them all up, same way, just a little bit of panel line wash on the outside, and I'll use that Starship Filth wash we used on the landing gear. I'll use that for just a little wash on the inside. These parts seem exactly the same, so whether it's 9 or 10, I don't think it matters if you mix these up, just as long as you get the decals in the right spot. So it's to the front of the fuselage, kind of like that. And that is really it for now. So I'm working my way through it. It's a lot of work getting all this stuff painted. There's 2 ways of doing it. One side, I've just pretty much put on all my like crocodile clips and doing it this way. And then the other side, I just did it on the sprue, which is my usual method, and actually this is easier. So rather than cut them all up and put the crocodile clips, I think it's easier to keep them. So the reason I keep them all on the sprue here while I paint them is just really so you can know has a number right next to it, so you don't not pile a bunch of parts and try and figure out which one's which. Especially when you have so many different doors and stuff, it can get a little complex. So just like a light dusting of white on the inside to create that kind of grimy look, and also the light goes grey on the outside. And a couple of doors, you're not really going to see them. I think see up there. A couple of doors where the refueling probe goes, they're going to be painted the rubber black to match the scheme, because they're on the black part in the middle. And that is pretty much it. So I'm working through all these. I'll start putting them on soon once I've got them all touched up and weathered. And once that's done, that's a lot of work actually complete. So one thing I did notice, I still got to build the arrestor hook. I've not started that yet. I just noticed that. But other than that, I think everything's pretty much ready to go.
Right, so I'm back, and this has been the last time I show it because it's getting a little bit fragile, and then after this one we'll do a final reveal. So, got all the doors on, a little bit tricky and fiddly, but we've got them on in the end. I'll tell you the instructions in a minute. I misread them, but I can explain that in a minute. So I've got the stabilizers glued in place, the pods on the wings I just pushed on. They didn't fit very good, so with my clippers I just clipped the tab, just diagonally clipped each end to make it a little bit shorter, and just push fit on the pods you'll see in a minute at the end of the wings. So, well, let me kind of show you around. I just kind of don't know where to hold this thing now, but so here she is. So you got the stabilizers on and the pods on the end of the wing, looking very good, white against the dirty fuselage. And there she's kind of looking. I still need to add a little bit of weathering. I glued them in place, and I weathered the outside with the Flory wash like I did with the fuselage, but the inside I'm just going to use that same as I did for the landing gear. I'm just going to get a very weak wash of that Starship filth and just pin wash it into the doors and stuff, add a little bit of grime there. But looking pretty good. Again, tricky to kind of hold now because we've got a few little aerials on the bottom and stuff. It's really coming together. Did glue the nozzles on because they kept coming off and I was holding it, and it was kind of annoying me, so I just glued them on in the end. But that's kind of where we're at. Again, it's a little tricky way to hold it. I wouldn't like to ship this thing because those doors are a little bit fragile. Yeah, massive, right? So let me put it down. I don't want to touch this thing too much and break anything. So put it down and set. So I misread here. So look at the instructions. I mean, you can see that. It says doors in the opposite, but actually it turned out that F8 and F5 aren't for that. As you look at them upside down, on the left side upside down, they're actually on the other side. Follow the arrows. So two of these doors go on one side and the others go on that side, and that kind of confused me. So just pay attention where the arrows are going and stuff and put them in the right spot. You should be good to go, I guess. And then at the front here, you can use H30 or H31, depending which one you want. I went with 31 because I had like a little kind of aerial attached to it in more detail. But yeah, it's a little confusing all this the way it did, because like I said, they split both sides up. So how it kind of on the instructions reads is basically the back two doors are on this left side, as if you look at it underneath, and the front two are on the right side. But it just a little confusing, but you'll see it when take care if you're building this and really figure it out if we glue anything. As always, all the painted parts just got super glued on. That's how I do it. I don't like to use extra thin wood painting because it can damage the paint and stuff, and super glue seems to work pretty good. So yeah, getting there. So all we got left to do now is I've got another door to go on the front, the avionics bays, a couple of aerials, angle tack sensors, that kind of stuff. Back seat needs to go in, and all the ordnance, which is all made up, so just simply super gluing it to the bottom should be pretty straightforward. So yeah, as I said, I don't want to keep touching this thing and moving it around much because I might break it. So I'm going to work on that, maybe like another hour's worth of work, and then when I come back, we can do the final reveal, and I'll show pictures and stuff and see how it turned out. Done. Now I'm having to slouch on my chair like this so I can fit in the camera shot, because I want to get it's so big. I want to get it on the bench here. So I'm not going to pick it up and show you around because it's going to likely going to break stuff, and I don't want to do that. So I took a quick little video and I'll insert it and kind of walk around what I got going on here. And at the very end, if you stay on, I'll put some pictures as always. So really enjoyed this, and as you can see, it turned out really nice. You probably just can't quite see the nose on there, but remember I magnetized it. If I move my camera around a little, it works great. I mean, so you can see the radar detail, and then it's just magnetized back on right now. So it turned out great. I really enjoyed it. It's so impressive in this scale. It's huge. I don't know where I'm going to put it, but it'll definitely be the center of my collection. So I built a few of these now, mostly Trumpeter. I built the MiG-29 SMT, which is beautiful, like Tamiya quality almost. It just fell together. What else have I done? I've done a Harrier recently. That was a little bit more work, but it looks great. And the Tamiya F16, that was a wonderful kit, but lots and lots of work. And this one, which is almost like a light model. When I say light, it's lacking a little detail, like in a cockpit, that kind of stuff. But when you see it, it looks very impressive on the shelf. Like, you don't see inside the cockpit side panels. You don't see some other stuff. I mean, it does have fully detailed engines, but you don't really see those anyway. But I mean, for me, it's just a perfect level of parts and detail. Towards the end, I was leaving the Mojo a little bit, doing little doors and stuff on the bottom. It took about 2 or 3 days to get all the gear on, the doors, that kind of stuff. There's so many little things going on there to paint them all up and stuff. So that's quite a lot of work. But generally, it went together no problems at all. Hopefully you've seen some of these earlier parts. And I put the myth to bed that this is a terrible kit. Huge gaps. You can't build it. It's unbuildable. Doesn't look like a Hornet. Well, guess what? I think it does, and I had no issues at all. I just have mediocre modeling skills, and you've seen from my videos how I got hold of it. There was a little bit warpage, just a little bit super glue, a little filling here and there. No problems at all. Now, there were a couple like little gaps in the back instrument panel here for some reason, but again, added 2 little pieces of like plastic card, 5-minute deal, painted it. You can't even tell; it just blends in. So that kind of stuff. So I think people are very quick at like dismissing this stuff, especially if I haven't built them. But to me, I love it. I think it looks great. Now, I know it's not 100% accurate. There might be a few lumps and bumps missing for a growler, all that kind of stuff. But again, I'm not a rivet counter. I don't care. Like on the shelf, when I look at it, I'm very happy. And it is a big jet. Like when I compare it to my F16 up there, it is a lot bigger than the F16 for sure. And it's just a big, big beast. And I'm really happy how it turned out. So going through this, so magnetized nose, obviously, we had it all open. One big thing which I suggest you do, which I did, was all the pods and stuff was quite a lot of work, and the fuel tanks. I did those early on in the build, get them out of the way, but at the very end, when my interest was kind of waning and kind of ready to move to my next project, all I had to do was super glue them to the bottom, and we're done. So that was a huge thing. I used the resin seats. That was really the only aftermarket I used. I used a stick and the resin seats, and that's it. The rest of it is out of the box. Now, the seats, aftermarket seats, might slightly be a slight different size to the kit ones. So I wasn't going to have the canopy down, but I found there was a bit of a gap. It was kind of affecting the frame inside a little bit, and it wasn't closing completely. It has a slight gap around it. So that's why I put it in the up position. I just touch super glue and I put it in the up position. Like no problem at all. And yeah, again, really happy with this guy. One thing, they did short the horizontal stabilizers, so they had nothing to there's no like tab to stick it in. So as you saw, I just went and got some tube. I think it was like 4.8 mil or 5 mil is what you need. Just glued it on again, no problem at all. And yeah, looking good. So I definitely highly recommend these kits. I'm definitely going to buy probably the FA-18E if I see one. It's essentially going to be the same kit, just a few little changes here and there, right? One seat, canopy different, and that kind of stuff. But these are modular, so obviously they're all different versions. But yeah, I really, really enjoyed it. It's not, well, I didn't pay a bad price for it. These were about $100 when I bought it a few years ago. Now we're about double that. So just with supply chain and stuff, these big boxes like this, these are about 180 right now-ish if you buy one, I think, which is quite high. But for $100, I think it's a good deal. If you look at some of the new Tamiya 48 scale stuff, again, you're looking at paying $100 anyway. And obviously with the size of this thing, it's huge. Use a lot of paint. We use lacquer paints as always. Like the bottom side, we used Mr. Hobby lacquer paints, and on top we used MRP and just rubber black for all the black. And again, I showed when it says black, you don't spray like flat black or gloss black. I used rubber black and mixed in a lot of grays and that kind of stuff to get that kind of effect, where it's like weathered down and looks more natural. All the ordnance is on, and yeah, we're good to go. And again, it's been a really enjoyable build. So hopefully you enjoyed this one. If so, see you on the next one. I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to build next. I know offline I'm itching to build this little Rubicon tank here. So I'm going to build something a lot smaller. So one thing I should mention too is the box is huge. Everything was big. So my whole pretty much dining table was filled for like 2 or 3 weeks, was filled with stuff for this. So I'm glad it is finished, so I can get some of my house back and actually get some of this put away. And yeah, it takes a lot of room up. But nonetheless, I mean, I guess you can display it, you can put it on the wall maybe, or hang it from the ceiling on some kind of like wire or something, maybe, possibly, I don't know. But you couldn't really do it. You have to gear down pretty much, and you have, well, this guy, it shows instructions having a ladder down. I'm sure you could tweak it and have it closed. That won't be such a big deal. But generally, I think it is built to be on the ground pretty much rather than in flight. But I'm sure you can do some adjustments and tweaking and stuff. But yeah, there you go. So again, it's been a long one, 11 parts. Thank you for staying this long if you have, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one. Please consider supporting me on Patreon or just hitting the subscribe button on YouTube. It really helps me and my channel, help me grow and build more of this kind of stuff and improve my quality, like better audio and lighting and that kind of stuff. Thanks again, as always, and I'll see you next time. Bye.